Hello everybody. Continuing my reviews on book-by-book systems and notebook covers, today I'm looking at the Kokuyo Systemic A5 notebook cover. If you saw my last video on the A5 Flex by Filofax, you may remember that one of my criticisms of that product is that in only one position do notebooks actually have a perfectly smooth surface to work on. In the comments to another video about the Flex system, a user pointed me towards this system. And this system does look like it does provide more flat surfaces to work on than the Flex, but they are very different beasts indeed. The Kokuyo system is Japanese, though it's made in China, and it is imported from Japan. So the instructions are in Japanese, and the pricing varies very wildly according to where you get it. Shop around, I would say. I got this one for 27 euros, but I also found them for sale for twice that price here in Germany. It's currently on sale on the official Kokuyo website for 32 euros 10 plus 12 euros shipping to take it to Germany, plus any customs clearance costs you have to pay. So it's relatively expensive to import. I got a bargain. So if you shop around, you can probably find a good bargain. There are several models in A5 and B6 sizes. This is the A5. This one has eyelets in the spine, which some of the other layouts don't have. And this one has a navy blue outside. It's a trifold design. So 1, 2, let me just take out this notepad so you can see one fold, and this is the second fold here. You can purchase inserts and accessories of various types from Kokuyo, but you are open to use any A5 insert which is not too thick and doesn't have too thick a cover. So if you took, for example, a notebook like this, which has a thick cover like a hardback book, it just simply cannot go into underneath here. It's too thick, too big. It pushes beyond the A5 size. So it has to be, it works really only with covers which have a thin-ish cover. These texts, which I've translated from Japanese, so you don't have to, suggest that you can accommodate 2 notebooks in the cover. It depends, of course, on the thickness of the notebooks you're using. You can squeeze more in, but they suggest that the total thickness of the notebooks together be no more than 23 millimeters. This notebook that they provided, which came with the product, is 5 millimeters thick. So you could get 3 or 4 notebooks in if you are creative and if you needed to. So you can fit these notebooks in various places. You can fit them, for example, here. Now, it is more difficult to slide a cover in to this system than it is, for example, to the Flex, because it's not manufactured to the same high standard. But it's worth persisting. Every review I've seen has started doing this and then given up and put the cover in this way, which means that you have a lump here. So they have one piece of plastic at the front, one piece at the back, which means you have an uneven surface to write on. So you can put a cover here. Also, every reviewer says that these ribbons drive them mad. I can see what they mean. You can put a cover in here. Yeah, you can put the front cover in this fold-out section. Just move this across. So you can put it into this fold-out section here, or you can put the back cover in the fold-out section, which is what they suggest you do. They suggest that the notebook goes in this back section. When closed, the back cover juts out behind the front cover to the right, which is probably designed to allow the pen to sit outside the interior of the product. I'm guessing that's deliberate. You can't really force the two to go together, so I'm guessing this is deliberate for this folding section to fit in. Not containing rings, it's close-ish to A5 size. This is A5. You can see it's not too far off. If I take the Filofax Flex product, this is A5, you'll see that the Kokuyo sticks out about 1/2 centimeter all the way around. It's not easy to see like this, but you can see it sticks out this end. It's about I don't know, 4 millimeters difference at each end. And the reason simply is because of the quality of the manufacture. So if you look at the seam here, the Filofax Flex product has a seam a couple of millimeters from the top. The Kokuyo is much more roughly produced, and the seam is 4 or 5 millimeters. So this extra thickness is required simply because of the way it's been put together, manufactured. It's the cheap and cheerful, not so cheap, but it's the plastic end of the market, let's be honest. It's made cheaply, it's not going to last forever. The cover is polyurethane. All of these instructions tell you don't put sharp objects. The polyurethane will rub, the polyurethane will flake. So be aware, obviously, plastic product, it'll last as long as the plastic does. The finish is rough, the manufacturing is rough. It's not obviously not got the same quality of finish as other products have. When it is closed, it is 23.2 centimeters high, 17.5 centimeters wide, including this bit that sticks out, and about 1.5 centimeters thick. But it only weighs 180 grams, which is incredibly light for a product like this when it's empty. So it's really light and really portable if that's important to you. The cover has 2 3/4 height pockets. So this is a pocket, this is a pocket, and it is sewn along the spine. Now there, it is not well designed. You have a faux leather backing here, whereas this is a sort of nylon material, but the faux leather backing only goes just beyond the top of the of this pocket here, and beyond here we have another nylon material, but you have a stitched little bump here. Okay, so if you are trying to slip A5 product into here, it won't go because of this thing in the way. You have to lift this and then work it in. Now that works obviously for this, which is a piece of card. If I take a piece of paper, which is A5, and the whole thing just becomes a little more difficult than it needs to be. Probably the easiest way to do it is to open this up so that it's looser and do it that way. But this is just one of the design things which makes it just not as good as it could be if it had been more carefully designed and more carefully produced. As I said, in the spine there are 2 eyelets which hold this ribbon, which is a page placement ribbon. There is a elastic closure here, but that closure is not attached to the back of the folder, which is unusual in a product like this. So if I go back to this notebook I was looking, this is what you'd normally find, or most often find, when you have a elastic closure. The elastic closure is attached to the back of the product. In this case, they don't do that. They have attached the plastic closure to the inside of the product here. So it's attached here, so that when it's closed, you don't see at the back this plastic, this elastic closure. So the back, as I said, 2 covers and these eyelets, nothing else. No embossed logos or anything like that. Inside, the lining is black rather than blue. On the left, we have this systemic label. It's a little tag. And these 2 plastic sheets behind which a notebook can be slipped. I'm not sure why the plastic sheets are split in this way here rather than closer to the top. To me, it makes more sense to put these at the top. You can, if you have a notebook that opens vertically rather than horizontally, you can easily slip it in here. So in that respect, this is an additional piece of flexibility. But because it goes behind this cover here rather than at the top, you have an uneven writing surface at this point. I'm not sure why that decision was made. I think it might be easier to manufacture than if you had a slit at the top, but I think the slit at the top would have made it easier to put a notebook into this, because putting notebooks in and out is not as easy as I think it should be. In the middle, as you see, you have these eyelets and these annoying ribbons. On the right hand side, we have this plastic fold out section. Again, we have a mirror image of these 2 plastic sheets behind which a notebook can be placed. This thing then goes out like this. There is a slit here. I'm not entirely sure what this is for. You can get a business card in there. Let me find a business card. So you can get a business card in there if you want to. I think it may have been designed for some of their accessories, like this product, because they are these miniature sizes. So that may be the reason. I don't know why you'd want to put something there, because again, it reduces the smoothness of the writing surface. Behind this section is a set of pockets for loose items. There is a full height pocket which can also hold a notebook, and 3 business card size notebooks, 1, 2, 3, which again can also hold accessories. So if you have a notebook here, you no longer have a very smooth surface if you're right-handed to write on here. This is not smooth, of course, because of these lumps. Here, if you have the notebook here, it's not smooth because of the distance between the spine of the notebook and the writing surface. So let me try and get this in here. So here I now have a smooth surface here. If I'm left-handed, that's no problem. But here I have now this uneven lump here. So really the only place where it is really smooth to write is if you put the notebook here and don't put anything in this slit here. Here we have a smooth surface up to this point, which is quite close to the margin. So that's smooth. And then you could write on the right-hand side here, turn this over, right on the left-hand side, right on the left-hand side here. So you do have smooth surface possibilities, not as many as I had expected when I first saw this. The forward out section also includes the elastic pen loop. It is offset significantly above the center line, rather too high in my opinion, and it's quite generous. So for very thin pens, you'd probably need to use those with a pen clip, a pocket clip, to stop them slipping through. So in this case, it's quite loose. I would need to put the pens, use the pocket clip to keep that in place. It holds larger pens. So here we have one which is a diameter of 1 centimeter. This is a bit bigger than 1 centimeter at this point, but I can see already this is too high. So if I'm going for a Lamy Safari, for example, which is a thicker pen, to this point that's okay, but then I have to struggle to get this any further down. So either I have to struggle to get the pen in, or the pen sticks out the top. I think this is placed higher than it should be. But again, this is what you are comfortable doing and what your pen is. But for me personally, I think this is too high. I think I've seen other reviewers saying they don't use the pen loop. So that's usually a sign. So that's that. Let's have a quick look at this notebook that comes with the product. So they have a lot of different products, Kokuyo stationery products. This notebook is an A5. It has this plastic cover. They love plastic, and a paper cover. And their layout is a little unusual. So what they have is they have on this side, they have this slash. This means you can add day, date, or date, month actually. Underneath it, this space is for a title. This is obviously easier if you're writing in Japanese, because you can write from top to bottom. In English you can also do that, but it looks a bit weird, so most of the time we'd have to turn it and write here. And you'll see there's this little corner bit here which they suggest you use for color coding, so that when you look at the side, if you have a project, you can look at the side and find out where the color is for the project, so you can easily find each page. The page is split then into 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. And also if you look along the top, you have little notches. Notch, notch, and then along the bottom, notch, notch, notch. So this enables you to, if you want to draw lines so that you can put the code, that you can split the page up into squares. And then of course up here you have space for titles. So I've just done a quick example at the front here. So you can see I put a date, I put a title, I've put some color here. I've put these extra lines in. I did some testing with a biro and with 3 fountain pens, and generally the pages are okay, you can see through, but there is only a little bleed through from one of the pens, so it's not too bad in terms of quality. Coming back to this system here, they suggest that you can link this to the index, and this index is here on the front cover. It's quite limited, so basically you can write down 1, 2, 3, 4 here, but as most of this page, half of this page is taken up with these instructions, I don't know how practical this is. If you only got 4 projects, fair enough, but I think this is, you probably need to make some of your pages inside the notebook into your index rather than relying on this this front cover here. As you see, the product lies completely flat and it can fold over on itself in various ways if that's what you want to do. So flexibility, as they say. For my tastes, the system has potential, but it has some design flaws, such as where the bits have been put in the plastic and how this faux leather doesn't go right down to the bottom, so it stops you putting pages in. I think it needs to be slightly better designed and better manufactured, because it's very rough and ready, so you don't have to struggle to install and move notebooks around or to put in loose pages. So that's my review of this Kokuyo system. I hope you found this useful. I don't like to sell or push in these videos, which they're intended only to help you to make your buying decisions on the basis of good information. But do subscribe to the channel if you would like to, and feel free also to follow the link in the description to make a small donation to help me keep these reviews coming, as I get nothing from YouTube or nothing from any manufacturers for providing you with this information. So I hope you found that useful. Take care. See you next time.